Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. This is a mini excavator I just bought. Got it off eBay, shipped. It only took about 5 or 6 days to show up. About 3 hours prior to this video being shot, I was called by this gentleman here. He's who was the delivery driver that the company contracted. Company was in California. This thing came from China, without a doubt, obviously, right? So, but came from China. This guy picked it up at their warehouse in California. He was told that, no problem, we'll be ready to unload it with a forklift when it gets here. I don't have a forklift at home. He called because he was about 3 hours out, and I asked him, I said, hey, look, you got a way to unload it, hopefully, right? And he did not. So he was willing to work with me. I said, hey, I think this thing comes ready to go. Anyway, put some gas in it, and we'll just get it to unload itself. Now, that sounds amazing in practice and for somebody who's an experienced excavator driver. This probably would have been a whole lot easier, but not me. I have never driven one of these. Driven some track vehicles, but never one of these. So at this point in the video, I am literally just learning how all the different controls work without trying to drive this thing through the box one way or the other, fall off the opposite side, so on and so forth. He's giving me some pointers and said, hey, use the bucket to do it instead of just the tracks. So I turned it. It kind of runs into the other side of the box, but at this point, who cares? Also, one thing that really tripped me up on this is when they loaded it into the box. I don't know if you can see the arrow at the bottom of the tracks. That's the front of the tracks, and so all of the controls for the tracks were backwards, which I'd never experienced that, having only driven some Bobcats and stuff. They don't have the ability to be reverse of the tracks. So again, this is me learning to use this thing at the very last, again on a delivery guy's trailer in a box, trying not to do any damage to anything. Trailer, the other stuff he had loaded on the trailer, and get this thing without falling over effectively. So enjoy the next couple minutes of me trying to figure this out. I promise I get it out and safely. So here you go. I should note this is just a 6x12 U-Haul trailer. It was the only thing we could come up with to transfer it off of his trailer onto. So yeah, I went and rented it for $40 or whatever for the day, and I came up with this plan in a very, very short period of time.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So here's just a quick walk around. You know, obviously it's still on the U-Haul trailer. Once we had it off the delivery trailer, we just pulled it up onto a little bit flatter ground up in our driveway, and yeah, this is basically how it came. I literally hadn't done anything at this point with it except for get it off the other trailer. So here's me trying to get this thing out of the U-Haul trailer, flip it around. Again, forgive me, this is the first time I've ever driven one of these things. Don't know anything about a lot of it. I just know that, you know, center of gravity and stuff like that. So I put the boom down. It's a little twitchy, just not smooth at driving the thing just yet. And yeah, kind of tip forward, wow, and yep, boom. I knew that was a thing, so I'm glad I put the boom down, and there we go. Got it on the ground.
Yay! How does it feel
It didn't die.
to own an excavator?
Interesting. Takes some getting
Your
used to
first time
thing.
driving an excavator.
Oh.
My first job with this thing was to move the box that it came in. So we'd already inconvenienced the delivery guy enough, and so we just dumped the whole thing off the edge of his truck, swept off his truck for him, let him get out of there, and then now it's like trying to figure out what to do with the box. So we're gonna just move it up away from the street. So I grabbed a hold of it here, but this wasn't the way. So I ended up instead of trying to pull it up because it was just falling apart like this, I eventually went around to the other side and pushed it up the thing. I actually kind of grabbed a hold of it and squished it between the bucket and the little dozer blade that's on the front, and then drove it up the walk, or the driveway rather. So here's me pushing this thing up. I've got a hold of it with the arm and pushing it with the little dozer blade, and again trying to learn how to drive this thing all at the same time. Actually didn't do too bad, I don't think. This actually worked out pretty well. I mean, the box probably weighed, I don't know, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, something like that. It was certainly more than my wife and I could have carried by ourselves without like disassembling it. So at this point I was glad I had the thing.
You want me to move those bars?
Yeah, you got it.
Smile.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now stand right here.
Uh-huh.
Put your hand on the arm. And now smile.